Welcome everyone to the Jim News Show. Today is March 17th, 2021, and it is St. Patrick's Day today. So happy St. Patrick's Day. And on that note, we've dedicated this episode to one of my bestest buds, my brothers of all time, one of the finest Irishmen in the nation, 100% New Englander, 100% Patriot, Brandon Doherty. That's right, I'm talking to you, kid. All right, a couple months ago we talked and you said, Brandon, you said, hey, I have my survival stuff, I got my ammunition. Ever since last summer, I've been waiting for things to pop off like a Guns N' Roses concert. And yet the band never seemed to show up. And so, Brandon, thanks for inspiring the episode today. We're going to look further into the reason why it might be that the band, meaning the explosions and the chaos, even more so than we already saw, did not show up. And we're going to look to the most probable of answers, which is the military actually in control of what's going on right now in our country? It seems to look that way the more and more we are shown information. So today, again, the Good Earth Movement's intention here is to present you information so you discern the truth for yourself. And I do want to mention that Brandon Doherty, who this episode is dedicated to, was one of the first, if you know, the first people to ever sit down at the Good Earth Movement conference table and talk about what we can do to make the earth a better place. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take you over to Richard, citizen journalist, with some more video from Washington, D.C. So let's check that out. If you want to see all of Richard, citizen journalist posts, go and download the Telegram app for your computer or mobile device, and then find Richard, citizen journalist in the search engine. He has 125,000 subscribers because he's showing you footage from Washington, D.C. that refutes footage that they show you on the Mockingbird News. Let's check out this clip that he posted this morning driving around.
Okay, guys, it's 9:24 on March 16th. There was coming down on 3rd Street here, southwest, to come by and show you an update on the Capitol. The news has been reporting that we're right here in front of the National Mall, guys. So the monument is there, and then, of course, the Capitol is here. The POW flag is flying this morning along with the American flag at full staff. And we're just showing you, so the MSM is reporting that these fences were coming down this week. Today's Tuesday, and I don't see any evidence of that right now. I don't see any troops either. We have seen a few troops, and reportedly what they're telling me is it's just the D.C. National Guard here at this point. I've heard numbers of 500 people, and 30,000 more troops are coming, and I've heard all sorts of numbers. And here you go. This is the National Mall here. And I've heard reports of all sorts of numbers. But as we come by here, I haven't seen any troops yet. Here's a couple trucks. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3 troops. And the troops that I've talked to in the last day or so have all been from the D.C. National Guard. So it seems to me that it's the D.C. Guard that's here now. Not very many of them. Not sure about that, obviously. You can see all the porta potties are still remaining from when there was all the troops here, guys. So there's tons of porta potties out there.
Okay, so you can check that out on Telegram. Type in Richard, citizen journalist, to see more. Two things that I want to touch upon about that video. Number one, as he mentions, there's a POW flag flying on top of the White House. I think that's what he said, or the Capitol building, which has been reported lately. So that makes you wonder why. You know, has the DC been turned into some type of facility to keep people in, rather than is the fencing there to keep people inside, or rather than keep people from getting inside? And the other thing is, guys, like, look at what he's showing you. There's no military troops standing around. So one minute we're hearing 6,000 troops, the next minute we're hearing 20,000 troops. Where are all they? unless they're all in the deep underground military bases underground, which I find that hard to believe, but you never know. They say it's so unlike anything we know under once you get under the ground, it's possible. But the point is that they're not standing around as they were shown to be in the past, as you know, they showed us on the MSM a few times. Okay, now we're going to take you over to Scott McKay, who had an announcement at the beginning of this week that was also talking about the military and to be on guard for any military operations in your area. It was a message to the Patriots to not get involved. So let's go over there and see that. You can find this video on YouTube. It is called Patriot Street Fighter Flash Update Crit, short for critical, or yes, capital CRIT. Let's hear what Scott has to say. This was March 14th. Important.
What I got tonight is this, and I need everybody to listen very carefully because I know there's a lot of Patriots on here that you're loaded for bear. You think you're going to have to defend your position here in this country. You're going to need to get involved in what we know is coming. And I'm here to tell you the information that I got tonight. It is absolutely critical that all Patriots stand down. This is not some type of, I don't want any bullshit shills coming in here and saying, oh, that's a strategy, that's a tactic. The most important thing we need to know right now, now listen, this is coming from Mike Adams. Mike Adams has come to the conclusion that everything that I have been sharing with him is spot on. And he now has come to realize, has got some information that validates that Lynn Wood's information is true. The information I've been putting out here is true. These guys, our military, our soldiers, the Patriots, are in full control, and they are ready to deliver the justice that this country needs. So what they absolutely do not need is they don't need any Patriots showing up. They don't need Patriots getting involved in any operations, any of the cities where they are marshaling their forces and their equipment to handle the not just the threats, but to take out this power structure on every level.
Okay. See more of that video on YouTube itself. Type in Scott McKay, Patriot Street Fighter, and check out his video from March 14th to hear more about that. He's basically saying that his intel is telling him the military is ready to take out the power structure that's in place all over the country. And what I find interesting is that it kind of may have an answer to where the heck did the military go in Washington, D.C.? Have they been spread out throughout the country under the guise of vaccination distribution? As we all know, where we go one, we go all. Know the plan of how that might shake out, which is the theory of why you'd have a vacated Washington, D.C., and at the same time, messages coming from apparent military intelligence saying, be ready. Well, it seems that it could be connected. So let me take you to one other conversation that we can share with you about that. Okay, in that conversation, actually, we're not going to share it because it's not on YouTube. It's only on BitChute. So we'll just explain to you where to find it. Basically, you want to go to BitChute, type in Robert David Steele, world champion boxer David Nino Rodriguez, and former spy on next 7 days, ampersand US. BitChute. So this is, Robert David Steele is former US spy and whistleblower. He's talking with David Rodriguez, who's been vetted by the military intelligence truth movement, and they both get a lot of information, and they're talking about how it's, so anyway, you want to watch it here. BitChute. They're talking about how the military is figuring it out right now, which means they're talking about how there was a report from the director of national intelligence, Radcliffe. Remember the one on foreign intelligence, blah, 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 for the election. It was given to the Pentagon on January 19th. And on January 20th, Biden was inaugurated. He still has not given a State of the Union address. Now we see that military is not in Washington, D.C., but the fences are still up. So what you'll find if you watch that conversation between Robert David Steele and David Rodriguez is that the military spent another 7 weeks investigating the claims, or I should say, investigating the report that Radcliffe delivered to make sure that it was authenticated and valid. And it came out that that they agreed that the report was in fact the truth, which means it means that the person that it means potentially that the person they say is the president isn't the president. So there's a lot of interesting things going on. And on that note, let's take over on a couple CGI shares that we found. Number one, let's go over to see the redheaded step family. Okay, if you don't know redheaded step family, you need to. They got a lot of amazing videos. This is their redheaded all together step family. Subscribe there. There's a cool post called Joe Got Busted.
This is Biden magically go through all the
which covers the CGI gaff of his hand on the microphone. See if you can see it.
microphones. Watch again.
Mr. President, do you have any plans to travel to the southern border, sir?
Not at the moment.
Have you decided?
Okay. I want you to see the whole video by subscribing to Redheaded Step Family and checking it out, the Joe Got Busted film. And we also have some more CGI Joe to show you where else you can find it. Okay, you can also see that same type of stuff. If you go to Telegram and add the channel Ghost Ezra all together, GHOST EZRA. You'll find a lot of cool stuff. Here's some more of that.
Mr. President, do you have any plans to travel to the southern border, sir?
Not at the moment.
Mr. President, do you have any?
Watch his hands and how they relate to the microphone. I gotta move this this menu bar. I gotta always keep moving it. Watch his hands.
Plans to travel to the southern border, sir?
Not at the moment.
So you saw it. Okay. Ghost Ezra. See if there's more.
Mr. President, do you have any plans to travel to the southern border, sir?
Not at the moment.
Okay, so that's CGI trickery. The redheaded step family will explain to you how that's actually green screen technology being used right in front of your face. So there you go. So what have we just found out? We got Scott McGade saying, Patriots stand down, military's in operation. You got Richard Citizen journalists saying, where's the military right now? He also has videos at vaccination clinics where there's just a bunch of parked cars and there's nobody getting vaccines. So are those the cars of the National Guard people that are no longer there? And where are they? They're showing Biden in these strange clips where there's some type of technology, some CGI going on there. So questions, keep on asking the questions. All right. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next topic of the show. Before we do, I just want to mention those names again for anyone who wants to find out more and dig deeper on the military intelligence drops and the potential operation that may be going on. Look up Juan 07, Juan, middle initial O, Savin, Savin. That's one of the alleged top military intelligence debriefers that there is. Scott McKay, who you heard, Robert David Steele, former spy, David Rodriguez, who's been doing this for at least a year now, wholeheartedly, who knows about a lot of the Hollywood stuff as well. Michael Jaco, former Navy SEAL, who's heavily been talking about this for at least over a year. So those are the names you want to follow. A lot of that stuff you can find right on YouTube. Some of it you have to go to BitChute and Rumble, but it's there. So it's it's um it's uh it's really just mind blowing what's going on right now. So I'll leave you with uh gems of information right there for you to look into deeper. Again, Richard, citizen journalist, has lots of video from Washington, D.C. Scott McKay and all the Truth Patriots have lots of information to share. Okay, moving on. Okay, so yes, we're going to move on into part 2 of the episode. Moving into some of the gems, as we like to call them. We want to give you some gems so that you can dig further into. First off, let's take you over to the Telegram channel that has all of Donald Trump's statements. Okay, so again, as I've said, if you download to any of your devices the Telegram app, you will be able to add channels. This is this is on my laptop. So there is a channel called Donald J. Trump. And if you go there, you'll see that lately there's been a lot of information, specifically endorsements. And I want to talk about that in a second. And statements. Like he made a statement on March 9th about the border. So if you want to know, so you can't find Donald Trump statements on Twitter because he was censored from that and other places, but you can find them here. So there's over 1 million subscribers that have figured it out. So if you want to hear what POTUS number 45 is saying, that's where you go. Okay. Now, why I think that's important to touch upon that Donald Trump's putting out a lot of endorsements since CPAC. Quick note, remember, Biden has still not had a State of the Union address. Trump's CPAC speech was more like a State of the Union address. And if you watch it, it'll be hard to disagree with that. He's since then, he's been endorsing candidates. And he's been playing like, he's setting up, he's setting up the Republican Party for the elections in 2022. I would argue that's not the case. I would argue that he's endorsing these candidates because Nesara is happening behind the scenes. And if you need more information on Nesara, you can look it up. It's the National Economic and Security Act and Reform Act. Hold on, I'll find it. Okay, here it is. Let me move that again. Nesara. Oh my goodness. Nesara. National Economic Security and Reformation Act. All right. Check it out. establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days of Nesara's announcement. Now, establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after Nesara's announcement, monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities or special interest group, creates new U.S. Treasury currency, rainbow currency, backed by gold, silver, platinum, and precious metals, and so forth. Okay, so there you go. That part right there that says new congressional elections. Well, would that maybe the reason Trump is promoting all of these governors and senators for the 2022 election, so that if there needs to be a new election for these in these areas, that Trump's endorsements are already out? Maybe so. Okay. I personally think that there could be a correlation there. Okay, back to another gem. Here's St. Patrick himself. So I looked into it in the 5th century. So about 1500 years ago, you had this guy named St. Patrick, and he's most known for driving the snakes out of Ireland. Now, that's pretty interesting considering that that seems to symbolically align to the times going on right now and what they say about Washington, D.C., and how we're clearing out the swamp and the reptilian energies and those type of things. And it's pretty cool to think that I honestly don't think the guy personally drove the literal animal snakes out of Ireland. So what could he possibly have done? Him and what army? I mean, what did the snakes represent? Well, in the Garden of Eden, which you'll be hearing more about that on our show, Arise with God, with Rita. That's coming soon on its own channel. So look forward to that. That's coming at the end of this week or next week. What, and she talks about the, when you think about scripture and the snake or serpent. So here you have St. Patrick, who's famous for driving the snakes out of Ireland 1500 years ago. And what that made me also think about was King Arthur, who also was around about 1500 years ago. And him and his Knights of the Round Table, they created Camelot it was supposed to be this amazing utopian metaphysical healing society. And all we hear now is whispers of it. But both of those were in the same time, which made me think, remember the pyramid of consciousness. So remember, everything that's going on right now has kind of been prophesized and foretold by all cultures, from the Mayan calendar to the book of Revelation to the Hopi prophecies to Nostradamus. And so what you have in the pyramid of consciousness is, you basically, as you get closer and closer to the top of the pyramid, you have these like big breakthroughs in humanity. And if you look on the right side here, this goes back billions of years to the cellular level of life on Earth, so to speak, up to 158,000 years ago, where it's more, the mind, human beings. That's when we start seeing things about the tribal, the ancient fossils. Right after the missing link, you have some ancient Homo sapien fossils that come into play. It goes all the way up through, they said the last biggest, this also corresponds with the photonic belt from the universe, that energy that comes in like waves that goes through the universe, as they say. When it hits the planet, you have these bursts of enlightenment. So like when they discovered fire or the wheel, And then most recently, you have the advancement of computers and things like this. And it talks about that as the universal co-creation and the galactic cycle, which is 1999 to 2011. The planetary cycle, which is the 1700s, which you can take that right to the revolutions, the French Revolution, the American Revolution. The first time in our known history where the humanities stood up and said, we are also divine beings and we can govern ourselves. It's very important. Before that, it goes back to where they started writing and putting laws together. So you have the ancient Greeks and the Romans. But I'm going to argue that in between 3,000 years ago and 250 years ago, there was another little mini level in there. So I'm going to put that at about 1,500 years ago, because at some moment in time, you had two islands at least. On one, you had this person driving out the snakes in such a way, whatever that means, to be remembered 1,500 years later. And you have this ancient city of Camelot and this whole legendary, perfect society of governing going on for a brief moment. Now, those are legends, but as we know, history is written by the winners, and they can take a lot out of the history book. So that's fascinating. Okay, continuing on with our slideshow on St. Patty's Day. Oh yes, a little bit of green here. Wanted to bring this to you. Remember that at the Army Navy game, football game, where Trump was, honored and applauded by the U.S. military. In fact, the only people that could be at that game were the U.S. military. Now, here's your gym in the middle of our St. Patty's Day show. The green frog in the back behind POTUS. So you have you can look this up. Green frog, U.S. Army versus Navy football game 2020. So you have all these military soldiers. No one else, no civilians, unless it was the press, could be at that game because of COVID restrictions, etc. It was played at West Point for the first time in like 80, 90 years. Now, there's a lot of little Easter eggs in here. We call them gems. If you watch that video and you look into it. But here's one right here where you have a person dressed as a frog right behind, right above POTUS as he's walking across the field. There's also, in a different picture, I think it's one aisle or one, what are those called? Walkways, over, you have a lone soldier standing on a specific letter of the alphabet, which is intriguing as well. But you have all these military soldiers dressed in all the same gear, and then you have a green frog. We had to share it on St. Patty's Day, the frog. What does the frog mean? Well, for those who are just getting going at this, one more time, green frog above POTUS. The green frog is Pepe. Pepe is known as the digital soldier mascot. Remember, Flynn said we have an army of digital soldiers. I think that's basically kind of like the news, the social media, the social news that you find on platforms like Telegram and Parler's back up now. Okay, moving on. The rainbow currency. So Nesara, remember when they said the rainbow currency? So this was one I saw. Rainbow currency. You got Kennedy on the $20 bill. Look up rainbow currency. In DuckDuckGo, Google if you have to, and you'll find there's some different variations. But this is the one that I think we're going to see coming out of ATM machines soon. Look how well done it is. It's not their for it wasn't done just for as a hobby or just for fun. There's some serious intention behind this design. Okay. All right, that was our St. Patty's Day slideshow. Okay, now moving on to the final part 3 of the St. Patty's Day episode. What's at the end of the rainbow? Okay, well, we started talking about Nesara, so let's just continue with that. So we've had an interesting, I'm just going to read it here. We had an interesting update on one of our truth blogs that we follow here. And here's another gem for you. Project Odin. Write that down. That's important to know. That is Space Force. Now, some people made fun of Space Force, but they shouldn't have, because it was like the best thing for the Alliance and for planetary peace and abundance on this planet. What Space Force really you're going to find out is, well, it's another branch of the military, but they do things like Project Odin and the quantum, the new quantum technology that's gonna basically be uploaded into all of our industries ASAP. So I want to read this real quick. Project Odin, let's see, skip down. Okay, sometime soon, the military would use their new Starlink communication system to take over all media outlets globally. A SpaceX, so I call it Space Force, Falcon 9 rocket launched a new batch of 60 Starlink internet satellites into orbit Sunday, March 14th, and nailed its landing at sea to top off a record-setting mission. Okay, so these are things you want to look up. Falcon 9 rocket launched, 60 Starlink internet satellites, Project Odin, right? So what does that mean? So basically last Sunday you had 60 satellites go up into space for a reason, for a purpose. Now they say when and if the military decides to take over the media, they would have to do it in a way that was not able to be hacked or circumvented by way of another force hacking them to upload the information. They would have to go through satellite. We'd have to go through satellites that are in orbit. So now we're going to take you to a young man who explains it really well. So let's go over there. So if this gets you excited, go to YouTube and find this channel, Health Sanctuary Family. You can also type in Quantum Internet and Project Odin to find this video. So we've heard a lot of things, Space Force, quantum. This guy's going to explain how it's all together as one mission. Check it out.
And this internet is going to heal humanity's mind. Hi, my name is Peter Hanna, and this is the Health Sanctuary Family channel, where I talk about all things related to health and safety. And I'm very excited about this video. I've been thinking about making it for 2-3 months now, done a lot of research, and it's really exciting because basically Elon Musk is helping the US government create this new internet that's going to change everything. This satellite internet, I mean, it's just incredible. Basically what it's going to do is, if you look at what's going on politically in the world right now, there's a huge information war going on. Huge information war. This is a technology that's going to allow the good guys to send out a lot of truth to people all around the world, and it's going to heal all our minds eventually, because we're in the middle of a huge information war. And the bad guys are sending bad information out, trying to make us retarded and try to poison us. The good guys are trying to inform us and educate us. And the problem is, right now the bad guys, they have a lot of control over the media, and and over what's being said. And so they're basically poisoning us and making us dumb and confusing us. And the good guys don't really have the upper hand here, but that's going to change soon with Starlink internet. This project is going to blow your mind. Now stay with me through this video. I'm going to show you some clips that talk about this a little bit. But the whole point of this video is that once this internet is released, it's going to change everything. Everything, our whole life is going to change forever.
So this is Project Starlink. This is what it's going to look like. Now, Elon Musk is on Team Trump, and they're making this project. And basically, the car company Tesla is funding.
Okay, so
Is-
let's stop here. So basically, what he's saying is, it's going to heal our minds because we're going to get real information. So again, the correlation is you can look up again Project Odin, Falcon 9, 60 Starlink satellites just launched. Now, this video that I was showing you was August 23rd, 2020. So I got some other things to show you about that. So quantum. Technology here. So I'm going to just take you through a couple parts of in my laptop here. So quantum voting system. There's a patent for a quantum voting system that uses, well, you can refer to it as blockchain, but it's actually even more advanced, if you can believe that. It was done in, there was a US patent filed for a voting system that uses quantum technology back in August of 2020. Now, I'm going to tell you that quantum technology was used in our voting somehow, our election of 2020, and that's where they're getting their information to give to the Pentagon. Remember how this episode started? The Pentagon got a report that said, without a doubt, I can't even say it because I don't want this video to get censored. But without a doubt, the proof is there to overturn our entire situation right now. So you can look that up. Quantum voting system, USPS. Here's another one. Type in quantum.gov into your search browser and check it out. This was up at least in 2019 because I saw it. And so Trump, under Trump's administration, they started this, the quantum.gov whole website. So quantum is the new technology that in order for us to have free and fair elections, a money system that can be tracked and not manipulated, which would affect everything with our money, an internet that cannot be censored, these type of things. This is why the young man is saying it's going to heal our minds, because we're finally going to get information that can't be censored or changed. So look that up, quantum.gov. Okay, so nearing the end of the rainbow, we're going to take you, let's see. Thanks for joining us on the St. Patty's Day, March 17th, 2021 episode. Hope you liked it. We're just getting going here with the Jim News Network. We got another show coming, as I mentioned, with Rita, Arise with God, and a lot of great information there, and about how it relates to restoring our republic, which is one nation under God. And our episode and our new channel, the Galactive, which is going to be a lot of fun, getting into some of the galactic content that we all like to talk about when we get a chance, and the fifth dimension, tools to ascend, channeling, stuff like that. So we're all busy. There's more than just me, I promise you. So again, thank you. And now we're going to take you out with some more quantum, which would align with one of the bullets in the Nesara plan, which is hidden technologies being released. So one of the hidden technologies being released that we're excited about are the med beds. These are beds that can basically bring can do amazing things, heal organs, put new, grow a new organ with inside of you or that's missing, a new limb. I mean, we're talking light years advanced technology that's been hidden from the planet. If you go down the Nesara perception that there's been a lot of technology hidden from us, like energy, and that argument is pretty easy to make when you consider Nikola Tesla was had a heart attack and all his information on free energy disappeared. Anyway, we want to end on a good note, a high note of where we're going, not all that's messed up with where we've been. Although let's give a shout out to all the patriots out there, all the St. Patties out there, all the people that stand up against the snakes and that fight for the truth to come out. Okay, so we're going to take you out with the med bed. What's a med bed? You'll find out. Let's check it out.
That's been perpetrated on you. And it's one of the dynamics that is about to change in a dramatic way with the announcement of Nesara and Gesara, as these new technologies will be released as a part of that exciting and life-enhancing package. Now, on to the details of these quantum therapy medbeds, which come in 3 different varieties, holding 3 unique functions and fortes that are currently available for rollout. Number 1, the holographic medbed is a diagnostic and treatment bed. Number 2, the regeneration bed works in concert with your DNA and stem cells to regenerate old tissue or missing organs. And bed number 3 is a regression and rejuvenation bed. These help to rejuvenate your cells, offering age regression therapy, as well as therapy that helps you to suppress unwanted memory. As you may have already guessed, these technologies did not originate on Earth, having been given to your secret space agencies for the benefit of humanity. It was an unfortunate choice that those in charge of making moral decisions decided to keep this technology to themselves. We are pleased to confirm that this error is now being rectified, and the right people are now working behind the scenes to ensure the rollout of these technologies to the public at large.
Okay. Oh, darn it. Let me go back real quick to that. Okay, to see more of that, go to YouTube, right on YouTube, Quantum Med Space Bed Space Technology. That's right. That's right. They're talking about Nesara. They're talking about the technology unfortunately was misused, not given to the people, but now it's coming out. They're saying a lot of people being rescued in the tunnels and the DUMBs are in the med beds right now. So all of you who want to wish you could go back and be 20 years younger, it's going to happen because there's med beds. So check into that. Look into Nesara, look into the med beds, look into this amazing paradigm shift and what's coming, because when you get into that stuff, you get excited and it helps you with coping with the fact that there's a lot of hard truths coming. So let's focus on the positive. Let's understand the reality and the negative, and so we can move on and move forward, and let's look at the positive. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us on St. Patrick's Day 2021. May the luck of the Irish be with you. God bless everyone. Have a great day.